This £112 NiPoGi Mini PC claims the Intel N97 CPU within is faster than the N100 CPU. But does that hold up in real retro gaming? I tested it and the results surprised me. Check this out. Today I'll be taking a look at this. It's the NiPoGi E1 Mini PC and it uses a low-powered Intel N97 CPU. It's small, compact, and it comes with 16GB of RAM, plus this unit has 512GB of SSD storage. I got this all for a bargain price of £112. This particular brand goes by the name of Kamrui or Ace Magic or Ace PC, and typically there's the manufacturer. Now the NiPoGi PC is one of the cheapest N97 PCs with this particular CPU you'll find on sale. And these CPUs are faster than the N100s and the N150 CPUs by just a small margin. And that's because it has a higher thermal power draw. Time to unbox it. Here's the manual. That is pretty much it. Only 2 or 3 pages per language. And then we have the console itself. I'll take a closer look at that later on. We have some standoff screws. HDMI cable. Looks pretty short. And we have this bracket VESA mount to mount the PC to the back of your monitor. And then finally we have the power adapter, the UK power adapter. Here's the specifications. 30 watts, 2.5 amps at 12 volts. And it's a barrel jack. Right, let's take a look at the PC now. Right, let's take a look at the front of the device. On the left hand side we have an on-off button, and then moving on from that we've got a small LED indicator, and then we have 2 USB 3.2 ports supporting 10 gigabits. Be warned that the little LED indicator can get covered up if you use a large device in the first USB socket. And then we have the audio jack, 3.5mm. And then let's have a look at the sides here. At the side we have ventilation grills for some air intake. And let's move on to the back. Now at the back here we have a 1 gigabit Ethernet port, and next to that we have a HDMI port and a display port. And then we have 2 USB 2.0 ports. And then next to that we have the DC input, power input, and also there's a Kensington socket there as well for securing your device. Turning it onto its side here we have some more ventilation grills as well for more air intake, which is good to see. Okay, now let's have a look at the bottom. At the bottom there's just 2 VESA screw mountos for the VESA bracket that was included. And there we have it. Right, onto the specifications now. We are dealing with a low power 12 watt N97 CPU that can turbo all the way up to 3.6 GHz, which is slightly higher than the N100's 3.4 GHz, which I've looked at on this channel before. The onboard GPU can clock to 1.2 GHz, which is much higher than what the N100 can do with its 750 MHz. Next, it has a single M.2 NVMe slot, and for video out it has HDMI and display ports supporting 4K at 60 Hz. Networking wise, it only has a single gigabit Ethernet port. I feel they could have added better networking if they wanted to. For wireless networking, it has Wi-Fi 5 and Bluetooth 4.2. Finally, we have 4 USB ports, with 2 of those operating at 10 gigabit USB 3.2 speeds, while 2 are only at USB 2.0 speeds. Right, here I am, I'm powered on, and one of the first things I do is go into the BIOS and have a look around. Now here we are in the advanced section. I'm going to the CPU management section to check the platform PL Power 1, which basically allows changing the wattage. As you can see at the moment it's 15 watts, which I'm going to leave alone. Now this is one of the more basic BIOSes I've ever seen, and there wasn't many settings you can tweak. Anyway, let's boot into Windows. Right, here I am in Windows 11. This is the Windows that it came with, and the first thing I do is run a virus check, and it came out clean, as you can see there. And then after that I also do a process check, because I never install this Windows version, and submits all the running processes to VirusTotal. That also came out clean as well. Now over here we've got CPU Z, and we can see the processor is the Intel N97, and the TDP is 12 watts as opposed to the N100, which has a 6 watt TDP. Everything else seems the same as the N100. Now going on to the main board, we can see we have the bus, which is a PCI Express 3.0, and the memory 16 gigabytes. And there's the speed of the RAM, it's DDR4, and it's not as fast as the Raxer N100s, which was, I believe, was a DDR5 RAM. 4800 RAM it was, so it's a little bit slower. And we can see the temperatures here. It's running fairly cool. Right, now let's load up some YouTube and test some YouTube playback. Here we are, we've got Costa Rica running. Got some stats for now in, and as you can see, it's pretty smooth. There are slight few drop frames here. Otherwise, nice smooth playback at 4K. Now on to some PS2 emulation with PCSX2, and this is Soul Calibur 3. On the left hand side is the N97 CPU, on the right hand side we have the N100 CPU, and performance wise it was a lot more stable frame rates at 60 frames per second, and you could support a little bit higher frame rate resolution as well.
You win! I know I can do.
Another PlayStation 2 game I tested was Time Crisis 3, and what I noticed was it was a lot more stable on the frame rates, and it could support slightly higher resolution as well. Of course that comes at a cost of a higher TDP.
Handgun, machine gun.
Next up it's PSP with SSPP. And here I tried 3x resolution and had no trouble supporting 3x resolution. I'm sure I could have ramped it up even higher, but there was a point of diminishing returns, so I just kept it at 3x. Overall, thoroughly enjoyable experience. Right, next up I tested some Dreamcast emulation using the Flycast emulator, and here I have Ikaruga running at 3x resolution, and these older Relic CPUs have no problem with Dreamcast whatsoever. Here, as you can see, they barely peak above 50% GPU usage, and the temperature remains cool throughout. Oh, and Ikaruga is quite a cool game. If you haven't played it, check it out, because it's got a unique way of it handles bullets. Next up, we have some Street Fighter action with X-Men vs Street Fighter, and here I've got MAME running, and I turned on the scan lines to give it the authentic CRT look. I had no trouble playing this. Some of the older MAME games obviously will run pretty well with this processor. Next up, how does it handle Swtch emulation? Well, here's Mario Odyssey, and it's not great, running only about 30 frames a second. Here the GPU is a limiting factor. Obviously with the a faster GPU it would do better, as I found out with the external GPU when I paired it with the N100. Next up we have some Sega Lindbergh emulation. This is a bit hit and miss. On this game, Initial D Stage 5, it handles it pretty okay. But on other games like Virtua Fighter 5, it's pretty slow. And that again is down to the GPU being a limiting factor. Now it's time for some more tangible benchmarks, and here I have Geekbench Scores, and as you can see there I have 2,874 for the multi-core score, and it compares pretty favourably to the Raxa X4, and it's 20 watt TDP state there. As you can see, the multi-cores are similar, but it still beats it on the single core score at 1,203. But the standard Raxa X4 obviously is a fair bit slower, but they are similar processors in many ways. Now I also ran the Geekbench 5 benchmark as well, and here it is compared to other SPCs I've reviewed on the channel. Pause the video if you want to look, but what I will say is it's currently the fastest single core computer I've reviewed so far, with an impressive 989 points on the single core score. And here is the Furmark score, which I wanted to do because of a faster GPU it has. And as you can see here, it's got 430, which is a 51% increase over the Raxa X4 and its N100 CPU, which I believe has a 750 MHz GPU.